Hello everyone, this is part 54 of What If Naruto Had Two Bloodlines, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. From his scroll, Naruto pulled a belt with 4 sheathed swords attached to it, 2 on each side. He placed it around his waist and seemed ready to begin. So, how far are you gonna go? Yuki asked. Just far enough to get the job done, Naruto responded. Sakura was curious about what the two of them were talking about so casually. She watched as Naruto pulled 2 of the 4 swords out. Now in his hands were 2 katana and, with his tail and a new tail, as far as his team was concerned, drew the remaining 2. These 2 were different than the katana. From a side view, their thicker blades were more curved to the point. The fuller of the blade was silver while the edge was blue. The blade led down to a similar 4-pronged guard above the rounded hilt of the swords. Naruto, when did you get a second tail? Sakura shockingly asked. I've had 2 since before I returned to the village. I just used one most of the time, he easily responded. Sasori and Deidara looked on as Naruto cracked his en and knuckles. Sasori watched him closely to try and predict what this host had up his sleeves. Deidara didn't really care much about the fight below. The first chance that he got, he would be the one to capture the new host. I've been itching to fight since the moment I saw you guys, let's do this. Naruto charged and Kakashi followed. The 2 began mowing down any puppet that got close to them. While they were busy with this, Sakura and Yuki provided protection for Chio as she used her puppets to help eliminate more of Sasori's puppets. After a couple of minutes of barely getting anywhere, Naruto decided to step things up a little more. He took the swords held by his 2 tails and connected them at the pommel. With his tails, one over and one under the grip of the now united blades, Naruto began rotating his tails and winding them. He planted his katana in the ground and cycled through seals. Starburst, Starblade Runner. He took a deep breath, picked up his swords, spun the 2 held by his tails like rotor blades, and his eyes lit up. A pair of tufts resembling his tails grew from his hair and, in the blink of an eye, he was off. He hacked and SD and diced his way through a great number of puppets and their weapons. In minutes, he had turned all of Sasori's puppets into kindle. All that was left was Sasori, or so it seemed. Naruto. Sakura called out. Naruto soon found himself surrounded by armed puppet pieces. Sakura wanted to help him but Yuki stopped her. They watched as Naruto sheathed his swords. From all angles Sasori's puppet pieces attacked. Keeping his cool, Naruto calmly told everyone to stay back as he cycled through his seals and Starburst, Pulsing Nova. A wave of whitish chakra exploded from Naruto's body numerous times. Sasori was shocked as he lost control of his puppets. His chakra threads were disabled and any puppet or piece that was too close was burned by chakra. Once done, Naruto's eyes returned to normal, his hair turned blonde, and he exhaled a small puff of smoke through his teeth. Naruto looked weak and it was made evident when the clone that was taking care of Gaara dispersed. This was a golden opportunity. Sasori jumped at this chance. He ran for a huffing Naruto who was now vulnerable. All he needed to do was ensure that this host was disabled. He attacked, planning to add some poison into his system. He swung his blades but was blocked and turned back by Yuki and her claws. With his first attempt a failure, Sasori decided to give it another try, but this time he headed right for Chio. One of Chio's puppets spit out a ball and she told Sakura to use it to subdue Sasori. She grabbed it and threw it at him as hard as she could. Its velocity was so great that he didn't have time to stop or get out of the way. It collided with him and pinned him to the far back wall. What was that, old lady? Yuki asked. It's a sealing jutsu that completely suppresses all chakra, you can't even use a chakra thread, she answered as she began to shiver. As she collapsed, Sakura ran over to her. She knew exactly what the cause was. Sasori's poison was taking effect. A puppet came back to life and attacked with a poisoned blade. It was Sasori, and his target was Chio. In an attempt to save her, Sakura jumped in front as did Kakashi for her. They were surprised to see that the one who took the brunt of the attack was Big Brother. Naruto, why? Sakura questioned. Without a single word or reaction to the pain, a golden-haired and eyed Naruto wrapped one of his golden tails around Sasori's arm. He lifted his right hand and, from his glove tips, chakra began to charge as he reached up to Sasori's chest. Fear overcame him as he could speculate what Naruto had planned. As he was about to go through with it, Naruto heard laughs coming from elsewhere. He turned to see that Deidara had scooped up Gaara's body and was now leaving with him, daring Naruto to follow and try to get him back. Naruto would have to finish this quickly. He turned around to see Sasori dislodging the arm that Naruto had a hold of. He revealed that he even had a blade concealed within the arm and came back for another try. Naruto was starting to feel his body going numb. He could force it to move, but eventually it could be a hindrance. Seeing this, Chio ran to the front of the line, jamming the remaining antidote into his body, to save him. Sasori was confused that she would do such a thing for some strange boy from a different village, but he was also more than pleased for his grandmother to be so willing to take the bullet. He would finally be rid of her. He went for the K but stopped for an instant and was espered through the chest by the father and mother puppets. Chio revealed that he had fallen into her traps, with the exception of everyone trying to take the blow for her. You were careless in the end, Sasori. Now I'm positive you won't be moving about. In the end, your secret was discovered. It doesn't matter if you have a puppet body, a part of your real body is still needed to control chakra, she labored. From that body over there, just the left part of your chest was left intact. A puppet body is just a puppet. Your real body allows you to use chakra and resides in that chest compartment. She fell to her knees from a combination of exhaustion and the effects of Sasori's poison. Noticing that Naruto was fuming but staying due to her, she told him to go after the other Akatsuki. Thanks, Granny, he waved. After witnessing him roughly yank the sword from his body, Sakura halted him. Wait, Naruto. I have to tend to your wounds, otherwise you could lose a lot of blood and pass out, or worse. Do it later, he replied. I'll get that other guy and be back before you know it, he exclaimed. Kakashi tried to stop him but he wouldn't hear another word and was gone. Kakashi had faith in him, but he wanted to be on the safe side and followed. They raced to catch up to Deidara who was waiting for them. Keeping his distance in the sky, he led the two-leaf shinobi on a chase. There's no way I'm letting you take Gaara. Naruto roared. Teasing him a little more, Deidara responded, you're quite the odd host. I'd heard that hosts generally hate other people because of their own bad moods, but this guy here was unusual too. He went to great lengths to protect his entire village before I managed to take him. So far there haven't been any other hosts like the two of you. As a matter of fact, up until now, 2 other hosts that were defeated by my peers were practically given to us, and not one single person came to save them. Instead, it seemed they were happy to be rid of the monsters. Naruto gritted his teeth as his canines enlarged. He angrily growled as Deidara continued to taunt him, both so pitiful and detested, I guess you just couldn't ignore each other, But you should know, Gaara's beast was extracted and he SD. Shortly, you'll share the same fate. Got it. Naruto drew back and prepared to attack but was stopped by Kakashi. Wait, Naruto, remain calm and we'll get Gaara back. I am calm, he angrily proclaimed. Well, this guy is a long-distance fighter and that can make things tough. There are only 2 ways to defeat an opponent like this. The best would be to draw in the opponent close enough within range of your most effective attacks and defeat them. The other is to use your own long-range attacks. I know you have at least one long-range attack, but I think I should give it a shot. After all, I believe I have one that's better suited to shutting this guy up. I just need a little time to prepare, Kakashi hinted. I could NK you or your little helper brats, that's a pity, but at least I secured that host brat. At least, I'll have led to his capture, Sasori coldly expressed. Sakura jumped up and said him in the face. Unharmed, he told her to, give it up, this body feels no pain. If you continue to hit me like that, only your fist will hurt. Women truly do like to do useless things, don't they? He chuckled. Even though we're connected by blood ties, I feel nothing if Grandma here SS. The same goes for that host. My heart is just like this body. Of all that I've cared so far, they're just added to that list. It's that simple. Sakura clenched her fists and exploded. What do you think a human life is? What are blood ties to you? Why are you like this? Chiyo stopped Sakura before she let her emotions get the best of her. Sasori couldn't comprehend the way she was behaving. By what he knew, this wasn't the way a shinobi was supposed to behave. Maybe you should try to become more like this too, Sasori provoked. Undercaying boss like this, a puppet can be rebuilt again and again, unfettered by a mortal lifespan. That's what I do with the people I keep as my puppets. If I want them, I don't just add for the sake of numbers. Collections are about quality. I figured that the two of you would have been perfect for my collection, but now I can't stand the sight of you. What the hell are you? Sakura growled. Another pointless thing, if I must say. Maybe I'm a person who couldn't become a puppet. I'm a puppet, but an incomplete one with a part of my former, real, body, not a puppet, not a human. He paused. I won't be able to move for much longer. But before that, I'll do something pointless as well. Think of it as a reward for defeating me. You wanted to know about Orochimaru, didn't you? Sakura was on edge. Did he really mean what he'd said? He was true to his word as he told her, 10 days from now, be at the Tenchi Bridge in the grass country by noon. Once done, his head drooped as his life faded. He and the puppets crashed to the ground. Sakura was relieved that it was finally over, at least this fight. She said that it was all thanks to Chiyo, but she confuted that it was Sasori's doing. He saw her last attack coming and yet, there he lay. Chiyo doubled over from everything she had been through. Sakura wanted to take her back to the village so that she could create more of the antidote, but Chiyo refused. She still had one more thing to do. Help me with Elder Chiyo, Yuki. No answer came and she looked around. Huh. Where's Yuki? I said that I'd handle this host, but I don't have much clay left. And what's worse, that copy ninja, Kakashi is here as well. Yeah, Deidara thought. What should I do? He pondered. It's done, Kakashi said as he finished his preparations. What are they up to? A while ago that kid was ranting and raving, but now, he seemed to have calmed down. Deidara wondered as he looked down on them. Naruto was amazed at Kakashi's new Sharingan. He had never seen anything like it before and asked what it was exactly. Kakashi informed him that it was the Mangekyo Sharingan. How good are you with it? Naruto asked but received no answer. Sensei, it's okay if you screw up, cause it'll definitely be finished one way or another. He declared. Kakashi agreed and focused on the target. Deidara could feel a strange sensation coming from nowhere. Just as he realized, it was too late. The sensation increased as Deidara noticed the warping of the space around him. Deidara found himself missing an arm as it was blown off by some unseen force. Ugh, not again. Damn it. He groaned. I missed. I still can't properly control the location and size of it. Kakashi tormented himself. Deidara cried out in pain at the loss of his arm, but he wouldn't have time to whine about it. Before he knew it, Naruto had appeared with swords drawn. He rotated and, like a buzzsaw, cut Deidara's clay bird to ribbons. A split second before Naruto shredded his bird and freed Gaara, Deidara jumped and fell to the forest below. Naruto shifted his focus to Gaara and grabbed him as they also fell into the forest. Kakashi soon joined him as Deidara hid out of sight. My right arm too. Now I can't use jutsu, is this it? That host is dangerous, but that's only if he's allowed close enough. The bigger threat is that Kakashi, and to think that there's someone else that can use Dujutsu at Itachi's level. There's no use in hiding, Naruto called out. I can track you a number of ways now, just know, you'll pay. He grimly stated as his eyes turned red, his whiskers thickened, and his canines sharpened. Gotcha, we'll fight again soon, yeah, Deidara goofed as he stayed hidden. You've let your guard down, Kakashi mentioned. What? And how is that? Deidara asked. You haven't noticed yet, Naruto started and stopped, but there's someone more volatile than me on your tail, he let him know. Before he knew what was going on, Deidara found himself on the receiving end of a devastating punch to the face. He was knocked from the tree and slammed to the ground below by red-haired clones. He was then jumped upon by an angered Yuki. The clones returned to pin him down and make him even more helpless as she vented her rage. If I hadn't seen her coming, I probably wouldn't have noticed Yuki before it was too late as well. That girl, Kakashi thought. She's become really good at stalking, Naruto mentioned out loud. When we had some time off from training, she would always try to sneak up and pounce on me, but it was useless because I could always sense her coming. Once she realized this, she would ask me to shut down her chakra system and try again. In a way, it was really helpful to both of us. With the little game we played, both of our abilities grew. Naruto watched as his sister violently punched Deidara again and again, slowly slipping further into a primal state. Naruto could also feel that he was losing himself the very same way. He knew that the Kyuubi's influence was growing by the second as the tailed chakra shroud covered his sister and bubbled out of him. Yuki, stop. Get a hold of yourself, he grimaced. His plead fell on deaf ears as Yuki unleashed the claws from her gauntlets and gruesomely tore into Deidara's body. Not done there with the addition of another tail, she reached into his chest cavity and pulled out his beating heart, or so she thought. In front of her eyes, the heart in her hand and the body below her began to discolor and melt into clay. This enraged her even more and another tail rapidly formed. Naruto violently shook as the same happened to him. Seeing him resisting, Kakashi asked, Naruto, what's happening here? Straining, Naruto told him, because we both have the Kyuubi sealed in us, if one starts to lose themselves to it, the other will react if they're in the same area. You're being affected by some kind of mutual reaction, Kakashi concluded. This is what Jiraiya warned me about. He said that Yuki could control herself further into the transformation than Naruto, which means, if one more tail appears, everyone will be in danger. Deidara was hiding in a bush while watching all of this. What is this? Is this a host's power? More importantly, that bastard Itachi didn't say anything about the girl being one as well. What the hell? I'll give him a piece of my mind next time I see him, he thought as he watched Yuki crawl out of the crater he once laid in. Before things got out of hand, Kakashi pulled out one of the seals Jiraiya had given him and placed it on Naruto's forehead. After a moment of nothing happening and the sight of a fourth tail bubbling up, Kakashi realized that it hadn't worked. He quickly created a shadow clone after figuring, as long as they're in the same area while the other is using the Kyuubi's chakra, the seal won't have any effect since the reaction would just spark the transformation back up. With great timing, Kakashi and his newly created clone placed the seals on both siblings' foreheads simultaneously. The shrouds that covered them slowly began to disperse as fatigue began to set in. Kakashi grabbed Yuki as she collapsed, but as his shadow clone disappeared, Naruto had no one to lean on. He, with Gaara in tow, fell from the tree and landed on Sakura and Chio, who had just arrived on the scene. If it were just her, Sakura might have let it slide, but, who was she kidding? Even if he had only fell on her, she would still be trying to shake some sense into him or the life out of him, whichever happened first. Feeling that enough is enough, Chio asked of Gaara's condition. With no response, she knew what she had to do. Deidara was still hiding himself, thinking, unbelievable, Master Sasori's done for. Like anything is left for the future as a thing of beauty, he got ked straight off. That creation of his real body with the exposed weak point was just him being overconfident, Well, even if I do say so myself, that was an ending fit for an artist. He noticed something behind him. When he turned around, there stood Team Guy. He quickly jumped to his feet and began running. With his mouth, he reached into his cloak and pulled a kunai as his pursuers caught up to him. The clang of steel rang through the forest as they tried to corral this villain. Now there's no way I can escape, Deidara thought. While running, he noticed clay from his bird scattered about and began to consume it. Kakashi warned Team Guy to be careful of Deidara's explosive techniques. They now had him cornered, but he wasn't acting that way. After taking a few bites of clay, Deidara smiled and said, "Take a look at my ultimate work of art. Art is a bang." He excitedly exclaimed. Using his Byakugan, Neji figured what he had planned and warned everyone to run for it. Deidara's body expanded to massive proportions. Like a bag of popcorn at its limit, Deidara exploded. It was too late for anyone to escape it. It quickly spread, but as quickly as it started, it stopped. What's going on? Guy questioned. They all watched as the remains of the explosion appeared to be sucked into a small voided space. Naruto recognized it as Kakashi's doing and caught him as he collapsed. Some of the others had no idea of what happened. I sent both him and his explosion into another dimension, he explained. With that crisis averted, they came to an open field to rest. While there, it was confirmed that Gaara was S. Naruto was broken up to actually hear it said. He knew it to be true but didn't want to believe it. It wasn't fair to him. Why? Why was it always Gaara? To S like this, when he just became the Kazekage. Chio tried to calm Naruto down, but, if you shinobi of the sand hadn't put that monster in him, then this would have never happened. Did any of you even care about Gaara or how he felt? Tears were streaming down his face, as was Yuki. Sakura would be next as Naruto continued. I couldn't save Sasuke and now I failed to save Gaara. I trained for 3 years and for what? Nothing's changed. Naruto was wearing his emotions on his sleeve. He was angry and sad that he couldn't seem to do anything right other than to cause chaos. Yuki was the same, but she tried to assure her brother that he wasn't. That it wasn't his fault because he always protected her, but he couldn't protect everyone. The two looked up to see a glow of chakra around Chio and Gaara. They were concerned with what she was up to now. She informed them that she was attempting to bring Gaara back to life. What she didn't tell them was that she was intending to exchange her life for his. The light and chakra began to diminish, but it didn't seem like Chio was trying to bring the jutsu to an end on purpose. Naruto and Yuki could tell that she was at the end of her rope, chakra-wise, and offered some of theirs. He wasn't sure if such a thing as bringing someone back from the S was possible, but at this time he was up to try anything. Can you really bring Gaara back with this, whatever it is? I spent many years developing this for my grandson, but it is already a dream that cannot be realized. In exchange for using up the user's life, anything down to a lifeless puppet is granted life, she said. Yuki and the others were horrified by this. Naruto asked her, "Hey, old woman, are you sure you want to do this?" After a brief moment of silence, she came back with, "I'm glad that someone like you appeared in this shinobi world that we old stubborn people created. In the past, everything that I did was mistaken, but at the very end, it seems that I have been given a chance to do the right thing. The leaf and sand, their futures are differing from our past. What are you? What Kakashi said about your mysterious power?" In a depressed tone, Naruto said, "My mysterious power is a dangerous one." Unsure of what he was talking about, Chio clarified, "No, the power I'm talking about is one that can change the future. Your dream is to become Hokage. Then become a Hokage unlike any before," she told him with a smile. Naruto nodded in agreement. She then moved on to Sakura after looking back at her from the corner of her eye, and Sakura, don't risk your life for an old hag next time. Save that which is important to you, she wisely advised. You are a lot like me, there aren't many women with chivalrous spirits matching those of men, you may become a kunoichi surpassing your own master. Sakura sniffled and wiped the tears from her eyes as Chio continued with her last words, Naruto, Yuki, please accept this old hag's final request. You're ones who can fully understand Gaara's pain and he yours. Help each other out. Be there for one another. Tears streamed down Yuki's face as she was touched by her words. Naruto could feel the old woman's life slipping away as the jutsu came to an end. Yuki couldn't feel this, but she was saddened as the woman slipped away right in front of them. As she fell back into Sakura's awaiting arms, Gaara slowly sat up. Unaware of what was going on, he was awakened by a hand on his shoulder. Naruto, he registered. With a small smile on his face, Naruto greeted him, "Welcome back, Gaara, everyone was worried about you and came to save you." Gaara was shocked and amazed to see a scene that he could only dream of. He was surrounded by the happy, smiling faces of his fellow sand shinobi. If he wasn't emotionless, he could have cried. "You put us through a lot, Yano." Naruto chuckled. "For sure," Kankuro exclaimed while making his way through the crowd. "You're one little brother I have to constantly worry about. Hey, don't go getting all complacent. Gaara's still the Kazekage, so don't be so cheeky, you underlings," Temari corrected. Naruto looked at her in disbelief. Was that the thanks he would receive for rescuing her little brother and the village's Kazekage? She wasn't the only one either. After being shoved aside by Temari, which was understandable because of their relationship, but two unknown kunoichi came up and pushed him out of the way to get to Gaara. Naruto couldn't stand this type of thing, not back in his academy days when Ino and Sakura would do it to get to Sasuke, and definitely not now. Yuki saw this and got into the girls' faces. She and the two began to argue back and forth about who was cooler, Naruto or the Kazekage. To keep them from stressing out an already exhausted Gaara, Temari tried her best to resolve the argument or at least quiet him down. No longer wanting to reminisce of his lame academy days, Naruto gave a huff and decided to leave it alone. That's when Kankuro stepped in. Don't let it get to you, women always seem to go for the cool, elite types. Yeah, it always seems that way, Naruto replied while glancing slightly at Sakura. Out of nowhere, Kankuro thanked him for all he'd done for Gaara. Naruto appreciated it but pointed him in the direction of the true heroine of the day. Sadly, he informed him and anyone that could hear of her untimely death. She had SD'd her life to the fullest to revive Gaara. Out of respect, there was a moment of silence for Chio. The ground cracked and crumbled as something sprouted from it. Deidara poked his head from it saying that he couldn't believe the failure he had just experienced. At least he was able to get away alive however. Being armless was an inconvenience. He had to track down his arm and ring, otherwise he'd probably be put down like a lame horse. Back in the destroyed former cave, the two-toned Akatsuki and a masked guy were investigating the scene. I found it, Mr. Zetsu. The masked guy waved and pointed to Sasori's ring in his palm. With this, I can become an Akatsuki too, right? There is an opening now, he mentioned. Idiot. It's not that simple, one side of Zetsu said. We can let him in, Toby's a good kid, the other stated. With Sasori's ring repossessed, the two set out in search of any sign of Deidara. They found such a sign in the single arm laying about in a random field. Not long after, Deidara showed up to reclaim it and his ring. Shizune stood before the Hokage and gave the report she received from the teams in the Sand Village. The report stated that the mission was successful in the retrieval of Gaara with the help and unfortunate loss of the elder Chio. Due to certain circumstances, they would remain in the sand for the next 3 days. Lady Tsunade, Shizune hesitantly spoke up. Although it worked well for this mission, was it really a good idea to send Naruto after the people who are targeting him? Even though Kakashi, a former Anbu captain, was present, why would you take such a risk? Tsunade smiled and said, just that, because he is a host. The only one who can understand a host is another host. Furthermore, that boy has a mysterious power, everyone starts to believe in him. Later at the Sand Village. Feel free to make yourselves at home, Temari courteously told them as she showed them to their rooms. With Kakashi in a weakened state, Guy offered to bunk with him. This left it 3 boys and 3 girls with 3 rooms, each with 2 beds. Sakura became nervous that she could end up in the room with a boy. There's an uneven number of girls and boys, so that means that a boy and girl could have to bunk together. What if I'm that girl? What if I have to stay with Lee? What if I end up with Naruto? They've both had a crush on me, being alone in a room with a boy. Before Sakura's imagination could run away with her, she was snapped back by Yuki grabbing Naruto and pulling him into a room. Tenten was surprised by her boldness but let Sakura know that it would just be the 2 of them. They went to put their things in their room but a small cry of pain from Naruto caught Sakura's attention. She remembered that he had been espied during the fight with Sasori but she didn't get a chance to look at it. She charged out of the room and into Naruto's. There she found Naruto hanging Yuki by her tail while scolding her about being so aggressive with him. Sakura commanded him to drop Yuki and he did. She then came right at him. She had a look in her eye and as she motioned at him, Naruto flinched. When he felt nothing, he opened his eyes to see Sakura untying his sash. He was embarrassed for a number of things. He had been expecting her to hit him for mistreating Yuki, but he was most embarrassed that Sakura was undoing his sash in front of Yuki, Tenten, Neji, and Lee. Wah, what are you doing, Sakura? He nervously asked. I'm tending to the wound you received from Sasori. I had completely forgotten about it, so we have to treat it quickly or it could become infected, she responded. He tried to explain to her that it wasn't necessary but she rapidly undressed him. She slipped off his black vest once she undid the sash and dropped it on the bed. It crashed on the bed and broke it down to the ground. Oh yeah, she said in a dopey tone. I didn't think you'd be wearing weighted clothes, she said as she began pulling of the next article of clothing. You know that's gonna be your bed, right? Yuki pointed out in ill humor as her eyes narrowed. Unless you want to share with me, of course, she gleefully turned. Crap. Naruto cursed as his shirt was pulled over his head. This time Sakura gently placed it on the bed. She checked him for the point in which Sasori's blade had entered but found nothing but a fading scar. What else she found was Naruto's spared abs that led to his chiseled chest and muscular arms. She unknowingly blushed as she took in the sight. She remembered that Naruto had always had a nice physique since the Chunin exams, but he didn't look like this. Without his shirt, Naruto's rippling muscles made him look to be 2 to 3 times bigger than Sakura. She was captivated by this and couldn't seem to stop herself. Naruto noticed her blushing and said, "Ha, Sakura, your face is red. Are you alright? You aren't sick, are you?" Everyone that had been looking on, but Lee, couldn't believe that even after 2 years of maturation, Naruto was still clueless. What? Oh. She shook the thoughts from her head. No, I'm perfectly fine, she nervously chuckled. I was just surprised that, you don't seem to have anything but a single scratch, she stretched. This wasn't a complete lie since she was astonished that he was perfectly fine. He informed her that although having the QB sealed within could be troublesome, it had its benefits, like rapid healing and a huge secondary chakra source. 3 days and endless teasing of Sakura by Tenten later. The Leaf Shinobi prepared to head home. They paid their last respects to the fallen elder and were ready to depart. They were escorted out of the village by Kankuro, Temari, and none other than the Kazekage himself. Naruto rubbed the back of his end before saying, "I guess that this is the part where you normally shake hands, but I've never been good with that kind of thing." He noticed that Gaara had his hand extended, waiting for his. Naruto could feel sand move across his hand as if it was telling him to go on. With smirk on his face, he lifted his hand and shook Gaara's. "Hey, I guess this is until next time," he said as they released their GS. They said the goodbyes and headed home. Tsunade was finishing up some paperwork. Hinata was waiting patiently for her master to get done so that she could take it where it needed to go. Bored with what she was doing, Tsunade looked up to see Hinata staring back. To kay this boring atmosphere, Tsunade decided to have a little fun with her cute little apprentice. "You know," she started, "in a few short hours, you won't be so lonely." What do you mean? Both teams that were sent to the sand should be returning soon. You know about that, right? She said while monitoring Hinata's reaction. Hinata instantly blushed as she nodded and asked what her master was getting at. Tsunade simply responded, "Once they return and get a little rest, you'll have Sakura helping you with the menial tasks and errands we have you run," she coyly stated. Hinata's blush faded, but then, "She can cover for you while you handle your own matters like your trip to the Sky Country or even, while you catch up with someone you haven't seen for, let's say, 2 years, Tsunade playfully hinted. Hinata's blush returned with a vengeance. Tsunade saw this and kept at it. "I can't believe that he's been back for a while now and the two of you still haven't bumped into one another. Before he was sent out, you flew out the window and he missed you by just a second." I'm not sure I'm ready. I want to see him, but I wouldn't know what to say, she said gloomily. "Just say, hi, and go from there," Tsunade cheerfully coached. Sakura, Neji, and Tenten entered the gate into the village. There they saw both Lee and Guy, slinging Kakashi around, while re-energizing each other. They looked over to see an exhausted Naruto, with Yuki sitting on his back, sticking his tongue out and panting. I'm so tired, he panted. "Well, of course you are, like an idiot, you put a bunch of weighted clothing on both you and your sister just to stupidly race Guy and Lee." Sakura stated irritated. "It was for training," he huffed. An older man with his right eye bandaged and his right arm covered made his way through a darkened underground area. His cane clicked on the ground until he sensed a presence and stopped. "I've managed to pull a few strings and get you assigned to Team Kakashi," the man said as a pale young male in a black single long-sleeved half-shirt appeared before him. "Not only because you are around the same age as Naruto Uzumaki, but you are stronger than anyone else in your generation in the village. More than anything, your artistic mind is amazing. From today until the mission is complete, your name is Sai." "I am called Sai," the young man said while trying to smile. "Don't use that fake smile in front of me," he commanded the youngster. "I'm sorry," Sai apologized. The manual said that the best way to appeal to someone is with a smiling face. "I've practiced, but I'm still unable to make these facial expressions." While the others delivered her sensei to his new hospital room, Sakura immediately reported to the Hokage. She reported to both her and Shizune the details of the mission and the extra information she received from Sasori. Tsunade thought of all the possibilities, risks, and consequences of investigating this. If it's a trap, then we'll just have to fight, Sakura seriously stated. Tsunade wasn't so sure. You say fight, but Kakashi won't be there. He's refined to that bed for at least a week and there are only 6 days left. I guess I'll just have to form a new team. Shizune tried to plead her case to the Hokage. Lady Tsunade, you should send a different team to investigate. Even if Sakura is a part of that team, Naruto and Yuki must be left out. It pained her to say that, but she was just worried about Naruto and his sister's well-being. Tsunade could tell this and responded, like you Shizune, Sakura is one of few shinobi I can trust. I am definitely sending her team on this mission. Then wouldn't it be the same if I were sent with a team instead of them? She tried to convince her. It's not the same. Both Sakura and Naruto are desperately trying to get their old teammate to return. More than anyone, they strongly believe in rescuing Sasuke, she strongly stated. Those strong feelings will lead the mission to succeed. That is where you and Sakura are different. Shizune could understand, but she still tried to argue for Naruto and Yuki to be left out and to remain in the village for their own safety. Once again her request was declined. Her feelings were ignored and her worry began to grow. Don't worry about a thing Shizune, a voice called out. We'll be fine. Shizune was shocked to look up to the roof to see Naruto and Yuki smiling down at her. Tsunade asked Naruto what he thought of the situation and he offered to search for others to join the mission. He jumped onto the railing and flashed a quick smile back at the others before leaping away. Before he did, Shizune could have sworn that he had thanked her as he jumped from the railing. Bah, that kid's always rushing. I hadn't even finished talking. I'll find members to fill the gaps left by Kakashi and maybe Sasuke. Find Naruto and tell him, Tsunade commanded Sakura. There's someone I'd like to add to this mission, but I'll have to see if I can convince her first, she said with a wicked smile. As she turned to leave, she was called over by an elder member of the council. She and another member sat down with her to have a little chat with her. They informed her that upon recent consultation with Shizune, they would like for Naruto and Yuki to remain in the village, guarded. Tsunade looked at Shizune with anger flaring in her eyes. Shizune quickly avoided eye contact to keep from incurring her master's wrath any further. Naruto and Yuki landed on a fence and noticed someone odd standing by a tree. Chills instantly went down her spine as Yuki was weirded out by the mere presence of this guy. She didn't even want to get near him. Something about this weirdo seemed familiar, but Naruto couldn't quite put his finger on it. He jumped down to get a closer look. He looked at the guy hoping that something would trigger his memory but couldn't get past his dark shades and big coat. He even had the lower half of his face covered, rendering any attempt to place him obsolete. Giving up on the guessing games, Naruto just asked, "Who are you?" The mystery guy responded, "It's been a while, Naruto." Naruto was still confused. The guy seemed to know him but he couldn't discern him in the least. Frustrated that he still hadn't been recognized and greeted in a friendly manner, the mystery shinobi relented and told Naruto, "It's me. Just because it's been a long time since we met, you should at least recognize the face of a comrade. But I can't recognize your face since you've got it all covered up." Naruto exploded. Then it dawned on him, wait. That weird way of speaking, you're Shino. He concluded. You got it at last, Shino confirmed with hurt pride. From a distance Yuki had heard that it was Shino and remembered how he creeped her out even 2 years ago. No wonder I feel so uneasy, she stated. The guy isn't that bad, another voice said. This smell. She turned to see, dog breath. I had the feeling that the smell of wet dog was you, and you brought your cute doggy along with you, she exclaimed as she jumped down and petted Akamaru. Annoyed at the insult, Kiba replied, we just met again after 2 years and this is the way you. He stopped as Yuki stood back up and brushed her hair behind one of her ears. Kiba's jaw dropped as he took in the sight of this beautiful young lady before him. How the hell did you end up this pretty? It just isn't right that someone with your messed up personality is this hot. She gave him a sensual look before saying, I'm sorry about all the times I mistreated you and called you names, but I was just a dumb kid then. You know how kids are at that age when they don't know how to express the true feelings to someone, she sweetly claimed as she slowly shifted into a position that better showed her full curves. Kiba's jaw dropped again as drool began to overflow from it. He couldn't believe his luck. She claimed that she wanted to make her feelings for him completely clear. He couldn't believe his luck. She slowly slid her fingers from behind her ear and down her end to her bosom and pleasantly said, "I'm glad to see that you're attracted to me," she teased before continuing, "because a loser idiot like you will never get a girl like me." She wickedly grinned. Kiba was taken aback. She continued, "As if I would fall for a guy like you. You aren't man or beast enough for me. Cute little Akamaru has a better chance with me than you do," she harshly stated. Akamaru gave his approval with a nice big bark. Upset, Kiba retorted, "Yeah, of course bestiality is right up your alley, isn't it?" A bit appalled at his statement, Yuki came back with, "You're just mad because I'd rather be with every animal on the planet before I end up with you." Naruto and Shino had heard the two bickering and came over to investigate. "Let me guess, she teased you and shot you down all in one go, right?" Naruto said. "That's sort of her thing. She seems to like the attention, so she'll tease anyone for fun. My grandpa said that she was a real vixen." "Tell me about." Kiba glowered while Yuki playfully stuck out her tongue and petted Akamaru once more. "Is that?" Naruto pointed at the big dog Kiba was riding. "Yep. It's Akamaru all right," Kiba proudly announced. "He's gotten so big," Naruto pointed out. "Really? I've spent so much time with him that I hadn't noticed." "I knew you were an idiot," Yuki mumbled. "Anyway," Kiba grunted. "Man, you've really grown yourself. You're even a little wider than me. I bet that's because his muscles are bigger than yours." "It makes sense since you're still such a scrawny pup," Yuki teased with a big grin on her face. Trying to ignore this comment, Kiba went on, "When I caught your scent, I didn't expect you to have grown this much." "You recognized me by my scent?" Naruto questioned. "Yeah, but I was almost turned back by the wretched stench of this one over here." He pinched his nose while pointing at Yuki. Yuki scrunched up her face and retaliated, "How can you say I stink when I smell better than my brother, unless..." She awised the appearance of the leather jacket wearing Beast Boy and proclaimed, "Naruto, you should watch out for this one. I think he has a thing for you," she giggled. "Hey," Kiba shouted. A drop of sweat fell down the back of Naruto's head as the two were at it again. His attention was grabbed by a moping Shino saying, "You recognized Kiba right away, Naruto." Once the situation and the tempers SD down, Naruto informed them of the upcoming mission and asked if either of them would participate. They declined since they had to leave soon. Naruto was bummed out, so he and Yuki left to hopefully find others that could help. Shortly after, Kiba picked up on a familiar scent as Shino noticed someone peeking their head from behind the fence. She searched the area before stepping into sight. She wore a long, white form-fitting robe with lavender trim. It was Hinata, sporting a huge blush as she, and her father and younger sister, made their way over to her teammates. "Hey, Hinata," Kiba cheerfully greeted. "You just missed." "I know," she stated. "How did you?" "Oh, right, a premonition. It seems like you're getting better with them, so, what did you see?" "Well, I was supposed to come running because I was afraid that we'd be late, but I was surprised by Naruto being here and hid around the corner. He overheard me and came to check out the noise. When he did, I fainted," she embarrassingly explained. Hearing this made Kiba's day as he burst into laughter. Hiyashi's reaction was completely different, however. "Really now, no daughter of mine should be so timid in front of anyone, much less one that isn't even fit to be in her presence," he scolded. Hanabi wore black baggy pants that stopped halfway to her ankles. She had an open short-sleeved hooded jacket over a black tank top. She felt bad for her sister, but something was bothering her. "Sister, why would you be so nervous about seeing this boy? If I remember correctly, the two of you were once good friends." Hanabi was right, but I don't know what to do, Hinata shyly stated. "I haven't seen him in so long, and I don't know what to say to him." "Why don't you just say hi?" Hinata had heard someone say. She looked at Kiba, but he was just standing there snickering. She then looked at Shino, but maybe it was her father. "It's been a long time, Hinata." She trembled as she realized that it was neither of them. She continued to tremble as she noticed her father looking past her. She turned and there stood. N-A, N-A, N-A-N-A, N-A, 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 Ru-to, she stuttered as her eyes widened. He smiled big as only he could and said, "So, how have you been, princess?" With a blank look on her red face, Hinata began to fall backwards. "Hinata!" Hiashi shouted. "Sister!" She fell back but was caught in the arms of Naruto. He swept her off of her weak legs and into his strong arms, bridal style. Hey, Hinata, are you alright? Naruto questioned. What's wrong with her? Kiba shouted, now isn't the time to faint Hinata. She began blinking her eyes as she regained consciousness. She lifted her head and was now inches away from Naruto's face. She stared into his big blue eyes for a moment before hers bugged out and she fainted again. Oh man, she's been fainting around Naruto a lot lately, Kiba commented. Wake up Hinata. Hinata, you recognized Hinata right away too, Naruto, Shino complained. Minutes later. Oh man, so you guys really can't help me out, Naruto said depressed. He was about to leave but noticed Hinata shuffling around as she came to. She could hear Naruto speaking and realized that she must have fainted once again. She wouldn't allow herself to do it again. She figured that the best thing to do would be to take everything in a bit at a time. She started at his feet and started up as he walked over to her. She looked at his white pants up to his blue shirt. She got up to his end but found it hard to look up any further. She was unexpectedly taken by surprise as Naruto squatted down to eye level and curiously looked her in the face. "Na, Ruto," she weakly said. She blushed and could feel herself slipping out of consciousness again. She shook her head and managed to stave it off. She looked at Naruto as he looked genuinely worried about her. Are you alright? Can you stand? He asked. Sure. He offered his hand and she hesitantly took it. She stood to her feet and noticed the height difference. She also noticed how handsome he really had become. Hinata, I need you to hear me out, Naruto said seriously. Oh okay. I really want you to go with me. Hinata was confused. What? She nervously and shakily responded. She wasn't sure, but she thought that he was asking her out. Was she mistaken? She knew that Naruto was bold, but would he really do it in front of everyone and her father? Hinata, I really need you. Her blush grew as she was pleasantly surprised to hear these words come from his mouth. We've got a mission coming up and we need another member, he cleared. Hinata's happy expression changed to one of confusion. Naruto completely explained the situation and cleared up the confusion. Even though she really wanted to help him, even if it meant skipping her important clan meeting, she reluctantly declined. He seemed just as upset by this as she did as she told him that this meeting would decide the future of her clan in the Sky Country. Well, maybe next time, Naruto dismissed. Oh, and princess, I probably don't have a right to say this but, I hope to see you soon. He left after saying it so he didn't get to see her reaction. She blushed profusely as he leapt away while she just stared off into space. Her team snapped her out of it as Naruto met up with Yuki. The two then watched as the team left. Damn it, that Hinata. After just 2 years, she came back and beat me, Yuki pouted. Naruto had no idea of what she was talking about but realized what it was when he turned to see her cupping her BS. He sighed and looked away. Wow, who is that beautiful lady? Another one of yours, Naruto? Jiraiya asked, appearing behind them with binoculars. That's Hinata, Naruto answered. Wait a minute, what are you doing here? I thought you were supposed to be out, gathering information. Or what, did you get shot down again or something? What do you mean? You're supposed to happy to see your wonderful grandpa. Another thing, I'm the great Jiraiya, I don't get shot down. Whatever, you're old perv. For an uncomfortable moment, the two exchanged angry looks. So, oh, what did you think? Yuki pried. About what? Naruto asked. About Hinata, she's grown to be very pretty, don't you think? Oh, is that so? I didn't really notice. Wah, that's such a lie. She's right. How can you call yourself a man if you didn't take notice of a girl like that with nice luscious lips, big ones out to here, and curvy curves like this? He exclaimed while dexterously motioning to get his point across. I bet that even if she weren't wearing such tight and clingy clothes you could still tell that she had a smocking body. Naruto began staring daggers at the old perv. With a giant bead of sweat rolling down the back of her head, Yuki said, I wouldn't put it that way, but Grandpa's right. She's just as pretty as those random girls and princesses that we ran across during our travels. Plus, I saw your tails wagging, both of them like you had no control over them. I happen to know that you tend to only do that when. Just what are you getting at? Naruto questioned in an aggravated tone. Which one do you prefer, Big Sister Sakura or Princess Hinata? Why does that even matter to you? Naruto coldly questioned. Because I wouldn't mind having either for a big sister. They both have the good qualities, and if I can't be with you, I want to make sure that you're happy with the one that's right for you, unlike those girls that seem to like you after you saved their lives. Why do you want me to be with a certain one? Well, I have an idea, Jiraiya interrupted. If you are wise the good qualities of both girls, then you'll come to the conclusion that you should be with both of them, he creepily and allegedly responded. Yuki quickly grabbed him by his tail and caused him to seize up. He lost his strength and fell off the fence. Why do you call Sakura sister? Is it the same when you were trying to get closer to me? Naruto was curious. Oh come on, a girl's got her reasons, she teased. Jiraiya climbed back up the fence just to say, you always like to tease men, but you don't seem to take any interest in them. Could it be? Don't tell me that you like the whole sister fantasy, and want Sakura for yourself. That's interesting. It would make a great addition for my book. Frustrated, she kicked the Grand L in the face and backed down to the ground. WRONG. The only one I have eyes for is my big brother. Auto FN, brother complex. A big drop of sweat formed on the back of Naruto's head. He couldn't believe that he was related to these two. Feeling the need to elaborate, Yuki explained herself, I've been around guys my whole life, so of course I love the idea of being around another girl. I call Sakura, Big Sis, because that's how she is. That's how we are, since I met her, and especially since we returned, she's always been like an older sister looking after the two of us. Worrying about us, carrying about us, she even goes out of her way to set us straight on occasion. That's why, I think of her as the big sister I never had. She sincerely and happily expressed. Sister, huh? Naruto quietly said to himself. Her confession brought up familiar feelings and memories in Naruto. Solemnly, he turned to leave. Grandpa, we'll see you later. For now, we have to find another member for our team. We've got an important mission to do. He said with passion and fire in his eyes. Hey, fine, do what you have to do, but Naruto, if anything comes up, find me, no matter where I am. Naruto nodded in agreement and he and his sister were off. They left the grandpa alone to think to himself, that kid, he's become so determined that nothing will stand in his way, not even the QB itself. So what will we do, big brother? Hinata and the others couldn't help because they had other things to do, Yuki stated. We'll just have to try someone else, and if they say no we'll keep searching until there's no one left. That's gonna take a lot of effort, too bad Grandpa can't help us out. At least that'd be helpful. Gramps has got his own things to see too. Besides, we no longer need him to babysit us. As long as we're together, we can handle anything, he assured her. The two easily found Shikamaru and explained the situation to him. Unfortunately, he too was busy. He had to sort the entrance for the upcoming Chunin exam. He wanted to help his, friend, but he had other responsibilities. That seemed to always be the case lately. Since their return, it seemed that everyone else always had extra things to do and had very little or no time to spare just to hang out. I'm free, if you need something, I can help out. Although they heard the voice, the smell of food is what really attracted their attention. They turned to see Chuji with a boxed lunch coming their way. Shikamaru was sure that Chuji had other things to do. Chuji, you sure you can say something like that? Don't you have a mission with Asuma-sensei and Ino? Shikamaru reminded him. Chuji tried to talk his way out of it, but Shikamaru reminded him that he couldn't just leave Asuma and Ino high and dry. If he were to help Naruto, then his team would be short a member. While this was going on, they were being watched. Sai opened an empty scroll and grabbed a paintbrush and ink. He dipped the brush in the ink and began drawing on the scroll. Chuji saw something barreling its way towards him and his friends. He activated his partial expansion jutsu on his fist. The other three quickly reacted. They cleared the way for Chuji's big fat fist to splatter the creature that tried to pounce on them. They soon found themselves surrounded by a group of beasts similar to the first. Naruto pointed out the guy responsible and mentioned that he was wearing a leaf headband. Shikamaru tried to immediately capture him with his shadow but couldn't due to the distance. The mystery shinobi created more beasts and had them charge. Hey, I guess he wants to fight. Looks like we have no choice, Naruto stated as he summoned his swords. He unsheathed them and he and his comrades prepared to take this guy down. 4 of the beasts surrounded them, jumped at them but were easily cut down by Naruto. Another went for Naruto but was dismissed by Yuki as she rolled over her brother's back. The two were in perfect sync as they eliminated beast after beast. Shikamaru signaled them to go for the guy on the roof and he would provide cover. Shikamaru was surprised at how fast they exploded from where they had been standing to nearly halfway there already. If he was going to be true to his word, Shikamaru would have to get a move on. His shadow raced down the street and branched to multiple targets along the way. He managed to stop the beasts that had surrounded them. As they neared him, the shinobi on the roof unleashed more beasts from his scroll. This time it was Yuki's turn. She jumped on her brother's shoulder and launched herself at the beasts. She rapidly spun through the air and the beasts. Naruto took this opportunity to finally close in on the attacker. The mystery shinobi pulled a short blade and swung at Naruto. Using one of his swords, Naruto blocked the attack easily and asked, "Who the hell are you?" The assailant answered with a fake smile, "You're not as impressive as I was led to believe. What do you have between your legs?" This provoked Naruto. While blocking with one sword, he readied to strike with the other 3. "Before I KO you, I'll give you one last chance to tell me who you are," he coldly said. Noticing a shadow creeping up on him, the mystery shinobi jumped back and retreated. The situation began to slowly return to normal, but those remaining couldn't help but ask who was the guy that had the nerve to attack them out of the blue, and why did he seem so interested in Naruto. Before they could even have a hope of piecing things together, Ino showed up looking for Chuji. "Sorry Ino, we were attacked by some weird guy," Chuji told her. She looked to see if this weird guy was still around and asked if he was talking about Naruto. "Hey, that's my brother you're talking about," Yuki returned. Ino was amazed to see such a cute girl walking towards her. The girl had a style that seemed to perfectly fit her. Ino was impressed and wanted to know more, maybe even become friends with this new bombshell. "Who are you?" "Ha, Ino, it's me, Naruto's little sister, Yuki." Ino recognized the name and thought back. She finally placed a face to the name. The face she remembered was cute but her clothes. Back then, she was such a tomboy, but now she'd blossomed into a beautiful young woman. When it really dawned on her, she couldn't believe it. Unacceptable. Tsunade disagreed. She was still in a meeting with the elder advisors. They tried desperately to convince her to restrain Naruto and Yuki's movements. They didn't want him to be allowed to leave the village if at all necessary and have them under constant supervision. "I'm all for a 4-man team, but such restrictions shouldn't be placed on them. The both of them are more than weapons that can be used at the village's discretion. Also, they seem to be more than capable of taking care of themselves," she differed. "Even if we could somehow keep either one of them in the village, it won't stop Akatsuki's pursuit of them. It could just end in a similar situation to that of the sand. If that were to happen, the leaf would be placed in danger. At least if they're on the move, the Akatsuki would have a harder time finding them. Naruto has always had a special ability. He will grow more powerful and I'm sure Yuki is no different," she informed. "You're being flippant, Tsunade. Speak like a Hokage. Can you truly guarantee that Naruto or his sister will not be taken by Akatsuki? If they gain the Kyuubi, they will become an even greater threat to the Leaf Village. Can you guarantee that this will not happen? Hey, O ye of little faith, neither will be taken." "I believe that." They questioned her faith and she answered, "If I am mistaken and the Leaf Village or the Fire Country is placed in danger, as the 5th Hokage, I will put my life on the line to save it." She seemed to have gotten her point across as the advisors were momentarily speechless, and that was saying something. They were willing to let her do as she pleased as long as they were allowed to pick a member for Naruto's 4-man team. She had no choice but to agree, even though she had the feeling that she was being set up. This feeling was confirmed when Danzu, the old warmonger of the village, was invited to the meeting. The old man shuffled in and greeted Tsunade. If it was him, she knew that the new member selected would be from his own personal Anbu, Root X. Naruto and Yuki still had not found anyone when Sakura ran up to them. She informed them that the empty slots had been filled. Spots? Naruto questioned. With a sad look on her face, Sakura informed them that Yuki wouldn't be allowed to go on the next mission. It was just a precaution. Who took her place? Sakura led them to where she was told to meet up. Once they got there, they met their new team captain, Yamato, and YOU. The twins shouted and ready to fight. Wait a minute, we're teammates now. This guy included, Yamato said pointing to Naruto's mystery attacker. Hiya, I'm Sai. I'm sorry about before. I just wanted to gauge the ability of my new team member, he stated with a smile. Still smiling he said, I just didn't know how much I would have to look after the little prick with no balls. What did you say about my brother, you bastard? Yuki fumed while Sakura struggled to hold her back. Yuki, you can't just beat the guy up, even though he isn't very nice, he's our new teammate, so cool down. Sakura tried to calm her down. It's nice to know that there's someone I might like on this time, a nice old crone, Sai had the nerve to say. This time it was Sakura being held back. Naruto had her in a full Nelson, while holding Yuki by the tail. With the commotion and some of the hostility ended at the moment, Yamato decided that it would be a good idea to carry out formal introductions. He began, I'm Yamato, and I'll be taking the place of Kakashi as team captain. You can refer to me as Captain or Captain Yamato. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, he said unenthusiastically. I'm Sakura Haruno, she still showed signs of agitation. I'm Sai, he cheerfully said. Hi, Sai, Yuki said fully of false enthusiasm. I'm Yuki Uzumaki, and I just wanted to let you know that you'll be in my brother and big sister's care. The thing about them is that they're a lot stronger than they look. Get my drift, she said darkly. Yamato cleared his tea. Well, now that we've all gotten acquainted, I'll explain our mission. From here, the four of us will proceed to the Tenchi Bridge. There, we will intercept and capture the Akatsuki spy in Orochimaru's organization. This is a chance for us to get information on the whereabouts of Orochimaru and Sasuke Uchiha. We may gain valuable information that could lead to the formulation of plan to assassinate Orochimaru and take back Sasuke. So keep focused. We will assemble at the village's front gate in 1 hour. After sorting out equipment, we will depart. After their meeting, Sakura and the twins were taking their time and talking about the recent changes to their team. That asshole, Sai, Naruto fumed. Just who the hell does he think he is? There's no way I'll simply accept someone like that, especially if they think that they're just gonna come in and completely replace Sasuke. So, you don't think that he'd be a good part of the team, aside from how vulgar he is? Sakura asked. There's no doubt. Back when Sasuke was here, the two of us didn't get along very well other than when we were on the battlefield together. I could probably make it work with that guy, but it just isn't the same. To me, Sasuke's way better. I agree, Sakura smiled. Sasuke's much cooler. You may think so, but no one's cooler than my brother, Yuki jumped in. After a brief chuckle, the three headed to the Hokage Tower. Before leaving to collect her things, Sakura informed the Hokage of the first meeting of the new team. A brief interruption from Danzu to confirm the status of the captain leading Naruto's team, and Sakura left to gather her things. The new Team Kakashi then met at the gate at the designated time and was ready to depart. Before they could, however, there was something that Naruto had to handle. Turn back, Yuki, you aren't supposed to leave the village. Those were the arrangements and we gave Granny Tsunade our word that we'd follow it, Naruto spoke up. Yuki poked her head from behind a post with her cheeks inflated. Upset, she said, brother, you idiot. If you hadn't said anything I could have followed you out of the village and you'd be the only one to know I was there. I could have helped you if you needed it and you could have kept an eye on me. Naruto dismissed her reasons with his, if I was the only one that knew you were out there with us, that could have just been more troublesome. If something happened to you while you were in hiding, there'd be no guarantee that I could help you. Besides, you already know that I can keep tabs on you no matter where you are, so it's best that you stay in the village. What Naruto had said intrigued Yamato, but he didn't say anything. But, I know you're worried about me, but what happened to the confidence you had in me earlier? You know I'm strong, so you really don't have to worry, he assured his little sister. She let out a few tears, but she let him know that she understood and would return to the tower. Naruto watched as she left, only to turn back to see her brother one more time. Team Kakashi was now ready to go. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.